Hi everyone. If you have been following my channel or subscribed to it or watch any of my videos, I just wanted to make this video to update you on the shift that I'm going to be making with my channel. Right now my channel is just kind of me waking up some days saying, hey, I want to make a video about something, and then I just put it up here. And it doesn't really have a lot of focus, a lot of intentionality, a lot of direction. The shift I'm going to be making is I'm going to be focusing my channel towards career-minded coaching for women's gymnastics. Now, this really affects anybody who coaches women's gymnastics, but I'm going to be putting information out there that is going to be helpful for those of you that are in it for the long haul. And so the way I'm going to be filming my videos is kind of with two main goals in mind. I'm going to either have a very large scope, or I'm going to cover a lot of material from a very basic, broad, sweeping idea perspective, where maybe I'm going to cover everything on bars, but I'm not going to get into the nuance between the everything on bars. And so I'm going to teach you and show you how the whole story of bars is fit together, but I'm not going to get into the nuances, the nitty gritty on how to execute and make those things happen. So I would have these kind of bigger scoped videos. And this might be if I'm going to do a video on hiring employees, I'm going to talk about the bigger, broader picture. And then I'm going to also make shorter, smaller videos that are going to zoom in and focus on key points within those broad sweeping videos. And so this way, if you want to see a bigger picture and you want to kind of go, okay, how do I digest this information from a very zoomed out perspective, you can watch those videos and understand how the whole piece kind of comes together. And then if you want to dive into the nuances, you can search the nuanced videos and find the very specific information that are going to dive in and get really nitty gritty with all the different key components that are used to build up each section essentially of information. So that's kind of how I'm going to build my videos. That's my hope. My hope is to make a video every single day. I don't really have yet a plan on what videos I'm going to make every single day, but I'm going to make videos that build upon information. So if I'm going to be talking about vault, I'm going to talk about vault in the broadest sense, and then I will zoom in and make videos on each key component of vault in a very nuanced way. And I really want to get into the little tiniest, smallest details so that you can grasp the value of the information that you're actually applying on a daily basis. Because some people, they might talk about vault, but they don't really discuss, the importance of spring placement, how many springs should be in a springboard, what happens when you change the springs, the speed of the springboard, placement of the springboard, how fast the athlete is running determines where the springboard should be placed. This can get very nuanced with just talking about a springboard. I mean, I could talk about a springboard for like 20 plus minutes on just springboard. And so with that, there needs to be a video on it. And so that's where the specificity is going to be on those smaller videos. They might be 15, 20 minutes long, but they're going to be very focused. So this way you can either then search in my channel, you can either search very specific things, or you can search, the broader things. And you're not going to have to watch a video for like 1 hour to find like some little nuanced segment. Also, it's very popular today where YouTubers will film a 2-hour-long video, let's say, and then they'll chop it up into smaller videos. But I don't think that the conversation that's going to go on for 1 hour about a very broad subject, I don't think that dicing that up into smaller 5-minute videos actually serves the value. Because if I'm going to have to talk for, let's just say I'm going to talk about spotting in the broad sense of all spotting for all skills, you're not going to learn the nuances for a specific skill. And so there's no way I could just chop that video up and be like, here you go, these are all the answers for these skills. Realistically, is I need to deep dive into each individual skill and really get into the nuances of what it's like to spot those skills. And so each one of those has to be a unique video designed for itself. And so I'm kind of understanding this as I'm going. So that's the kind of big pivot that's going to be happening in how I make videos. I kind of have some mile markers that I want to hit on my channel. And one of the mile markers is I want to get to 10,000 subscribers. I think that when I get to 10,000 subscribers, it's going to build a big enough pool of an audience so that it'll kind of encourage me to then go to the next level. And it'll kind of be a return on investment, essentially. I'm making these videos. I see my subscribers grow. And then it kind of is a seal of approval, like, hey, Raleigh, you're doing a good job. Keep going in this direction. If I can't get there first, then I'm going to have to make a pivot on how I'm making videos. The next layer, though, is once I get to 10,000 subscribers, I want to kind of pivot into a live video realm where I'm hosting YouTube Live streaming live, and I'm inviting you, the audience member, to come on and discuss certain topics. And so I would have a live video, and I would, the topic might be kipping on bars, and you could come in and ask your questions about kips, and I would answer them, and we would just have this dialogue on what it means to kip on the bars, how, foot placement, different types of drills, how you use them to develop skills, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's kind of a silly example of kips, but getting a live audience, getting a live interaction, getting to know you, the audience, on a more personal level, I think that would be the next step to go. And so that's where I want to go after I hit a large enough pool of subscribers, is get into live videos. And then after that, I want to get into then hopefully having enough experience and putting enough information out there, is compiling a lot of it and creating more, and organizing the information in a way that I could then provide a coaching course for those who are career minded. And so then taking all this information, putting it to the way that someone could, go through a 20-hour, 40-hour, might be 100-hour coaching course, and have the complete kind of information set up for all the different topics, all the different modules, just areas that need to be known. And then after that, it would be then pivoting for businesses, because I think businesses also have a need for a coaching course for their employees, but I think it's a different type of need. And so first, narrowing it down for those of you that are like, I want to become a career-minded coach, but I don't have a course to go through that's really going to walk me A through Z through all the steps to really feel proficient and competent and capable within the industry of gymnastics. Because I find that if I could get, like, I know for a fact, being that I have employees and that I train them, the more capable they become, the more value they bring to the company. The more value they bring to the company, the whole thing just kind of feeds itself. And I know that a lot of businesses out there don't have the money, they don't have the capital to go train, hire an employee, someone they don't even know, and then go spend thousands of dollars training that person only for them to quit on them in 6 months, 8 months, a year and a half. It's not a very good business setup. And so there has to be some sort of schooling set up outside of the businesses so that we can start developing actual coaches that are competent and capable before they even get to the job. And so that I have a real big heart for that. That's would have been something that would have helped me a lot. And that's what I've spent a lot of my professional career around, is employee development and education in that realm. And then I think pivoting it towards businesses that have employees that are going to kind of need to be drip fed information and education over a long period of time at small little doses. I think that could be beneficial, but it's got to be more cost effective for a company. They can't, you can't be spending $500 on every single employee you hire only for them to quit on you in 2 weeks. I mean, you would just go bankrupt essentially. So that's kind of my path that I'm aiming for. 10,000 subscribers. I think it's doable. The number that I have right now, I haven't put a lot of energy of consistency. So I think 10,000 is a total doable goal. When I do that, then I want to get to know you, the audience, and I want to start hosting live videos and just building that camaraderie and that relationship with you so that I can get to know what your needs are, what your problems are that you're dealing with, and get a better, just my finger on the pulse essentially of what's happening throughout the entire community. And then go into course building, and that might be several years down the road. I don't know. But this is kind of the path I'm going on. This is how I'm going to be pivoting my channel. What can I use from you? Your encouragement, really. Your encouragement to want to wake up every single day and make a video. And I'm going to not be focusing on my production value. I'm going to be focusing on quality of information and getting as much information out as possible. So you're going to have a little bit of grace if there's some production errors, because the amount of time it takes to just make videos, upload them, all this stuff, I don't want to, I will never get to the end of the story. There's just so much gymnastics to cover. We'll never get to it. And I want to get through all of it first, for like one layer, get through all of it, build up the audience that I need to get through all of it. And then once we get to a certain point, come back to it and go through the production value and actually increase the quality of the production, maybe on round 2 of going through the information. And so this is the journey I'm going on. I would love to include you on this journey, and I really, really want to welcome any sort of input or thoughts you might have on how I can make this channel most beneficial for you. This is not about just me giving you information. This is more about how are you going to use this information and what is the best way for me to give you the information so that is the most productive for you. And so please feel free to comment and guide me along the way on what your experience is like, because I'm in it for you. And I am dedicating this next year, next 12 months, committing to this channel to see how far I can take it, delivering these types of videos every single day. So I appreciate the support. I appreciate the subscription. I appreciate the likes, the comments, just any sort of engagement that you've given this channel. Thank you so much for it. And I look forward to engaging with you more down the road. Have a great day. Be blessed. Bye.